Next time I'll get it right, but for now I'll stay right here where I belong.
You have an amazing opportunity, young generation, to rise above and be proud of the choices you're making and get out of the codependent culture and be responsible for you and work harder in your life than anyone else ever will.
What do you want? What do you want out of your life? Where do you want to go? If no one else will fight, I'll be the one. I'll be the one to step into their world. I'll be the one to walk with them.
And I mean it more than you'll ever know.
Some people will ghost you. Well, then maybe they're not real friends. At some point in time in your life, you are gonna have to come face to face with yourself.
Next time I'm getting it right. Will you believe me if I say this is the last time?
And then she points at me and she goes, there's greatness inside of you. Sometimes we need people to believe things for us until we can believe it for ourselves. Because I look at what I'm doing now and it's not lining up with what they said I couldn't do. And now I'm doing everything that people said I couldn't do. Because now I travel the world and I share my story.
Next time I'll get it right, but for now I'll stay right here where I belong.
And by the time I was 26, I was sitting in 30-day inpatient treatment for alcohol. My family wanted nothing to do with me, couldn't hold a job. I was codependent, all because I thought I could get away with it. I should probably have about 10 DUIs, I only have 2. My last one was June 24th, 2010. That was the DUI that changed my life.
For it to hurt more, to stay the same. When I get through this storm, I'll find it on my own. And I'll mean it more than you'll ever know.
And so I'm going to talk about connection and belonging. We're looking for a place to belong where someone can come out and say, hey, we want you here. I want you here. We want you around. We say we live in such a connected world. If that's the case, if we really say we're more connected, then why is everybody more depressed?
There's no dumb kid, there's no worthless kid. There's only kids that have been starved of love and have been wounded so badly, they're just looking for a place to lay. We can't change the history, but we can help shape their future.
Next time I'm getting it right.
Take one thing that you want to focus on to overcome in your life. Take one thing at a time and walk through the process. The process is only a process if one stays in it. If you don't stay in the process, then it's no longer a process.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Peer Purpose Podcast. Hope you enjoyed the last episode. Again, let us know where you're listening from. peerpurposepodcast@gmail.com. Got a great episode for you today. Everything that I talk about on this is literally everything that I've heard in my last 8 years traveling, speaking, talking to people, kids, parents. And so I give you practical tips on this podcast to really start applying in your life. And this today is called The Art of Building Trust. This is one of the biggest, along with being offended by everything, this is one of the biggest topics in our world. You see it everywhere on social media. It's the lack of trust in people, and what that comes from is pain. It's hurt that we've experienced, right? When we've been vulnerable in our lives with someone and we've given our heart and we've opened up our heart to people, and maybe the person didn't know how to handle your heart. Maybe the person didn't ever have their heart handled well. A lot of different reasons, and for some reason they hurt you. Let me just start off by saying, guys, pain is inevitable. There is no way around it. You are going to get hurt in your lifetime. There's going to be emotional pain. There's going to be physical pain. A lot of different types of pain that we can experience, right? We are not immortal, right? We are human beings. We have hearts. We have feelings. And my main goal on this podcast is to get you in a situation to where you understand that you can accept your whole self, that you don't have to compartmentalize beings of yourself, that you can be the whole person that you're created to be, that you have emotions, and it's okay to actually be aware of those emotions. You have belief systems that we talked about last week that you can actually be aware of your belief systems, right? We talked about how to overcome the self-sabotage cycle. You have to have belief awareness. What am I believing? What are the experiences that I have had in my life that have shaped my beliefs? And then that leads to a simple fact of you have to start healing, right? You have to start looking inside, and then you start healing from those things. And some beliefs that some of you have, like I said, some are great, but others aren't serving you well. And it's okay. The problem I see is a lot of us don't want to admit our flaws. We don't want to admit that we might be missing it. For many years, when I was doing the speaking thing, the first 3-4 years, I didn't like to admit that I had flaws. But I started to realize that I'm a human being. And one of the things that I really struggled with early on was trusting people, because I came out of a life where I didn't think I could trust anybody. I came out of a life that people had used and abused me, and I gave them my heart, and they didn't know how to handle it well. But on the flip side of that, I didn't know how to handle their heart well. And so it's two people not being able to handle a heart, and we end up hurting each other. Okay? I'm going to show you today how you can turn those hurts into being able to trust people. Because the only way to get past something is to do it, right? The only way to start trusting again is to start trusting. But I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about how you get to that place. And here's how I got to that place, okay? I'm going to give you 4 main points today, but here's how I got to that place where I could start trusting people again. I had to heal. And I had to understand that each and every incident that I had, it was isolated. That not everybody is the same. Sure, maybe there was a time in my life where I was with a certain group of people that had been hurt too. And so that's what they were going to give me. We've talked about what has been passed down to you through your family cycles, right? We've talked about those generational gifts, so to speak, that is passed down to you. Okay. And I hung out with a lot of people at one point in time that they had a lot of nasty stuff passed to them, just like I had nasty stuff passed to me. And so that's where we land. Okay. But the only way is as you continue to progress through life and you continue to get healthier, that attracts a different group of people, right? If I'm just going to give an example. Let's say you're going to game, you're gaming. If you go to a gaming arcade, I see a lot of those around, you're going to attract a lot of gamers, right? If you go to the bar, you're going to attract people that drink. It's wherever you go, wherever you flock to, you're going to attract those type of people, right? We can't plant a peach tree and expect apples. We're going to go to the places and we're going to attract those people that hang out in those places. So the only way to stop attracting those people that may not be able to handle your heart well is you have to get healthier so you can go in different groups of people that will actually respect you. As you get healthier, you come across people that are healthier. Okay? And so the only way to start trusting it is to trust. If you don't choose to trust, what happens is you get to a place where that becomes how you survive. And I get survival. I've been there, honestly. And I can tell you that it's not a fun place to be. And let me just disclaim this. Guys, I don't blame some of you for living in survival mode, for protecting yourselves. Some of you have to, or some of you have had to. Doesn't mean you still have to, but some of you have. I had to for many years. I lived by the code. I have to look out for myself because no one else is going to look out for me. I was 19, and I'm not saying I didn't have parents. I do. I love my parents very much. But I felt that when I left home and the challenges of life started coming my way, I don't feel like I had a great support system. And so because I didn't have a great support system and I didn't have a lot of protection at that time, a lot of stuff infiltrated me. And over time, it put me in survival mode. It put me in self-protection mode. So I want to disclaim that because I talk a lot about that on here. I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing. Some of you need to self-protect yourselves. But what I am telling you is there is a way out of that. There is a way out of survival. There is a way out of self-protection. Okay? And here's how you get there. The first place when you can start building trust back in your life, as you start getting on this emotional healing journey, what happens is you start creating a space with people where you can have emotional safety. So creating a safe place with people, okay? And I did that. When I moved to Wyoming 4 years ago or whatever it was, 3 years ago, I started attracting. Growth was always something that I desired. I never desired to stay stuck. You know, I've asked God to make me into the man he always created me to be. I never wanted to be in some of the cycles that I created in my 20s. I always wanted to get out of that. But at the same time, I had been in a lot of that. And so growth, though, was always at the forefront, especially when I started on this journey, because I was like, I can only give what I have, and I'm only going to be able to expand as I expand inside of me. And as we continue to grow and we continue to move forward in life, that's when the possibilities expand. That's when our opportunities grow, because we break through that ceiling that I was talking about a month ago in this podcast. We break through the ceiling. A lot of the times when we've built that self-protection and that survival up, we always come back to the ceiling and we never break through it. Well, the only way to break through that ceiling is if we start healing and we have an emotional safety and we have a safe place to be broken. And so when you start building trust back and you get healthier, you're going to start running into people that understand that, and they're going to give you that emotional safety. Okay? Only then, when you get healthy in that area, that's what brings connection. When you have a safe place to be broken, you're able to connect with people. You're able to live in that place of connection and start saying, okay, I feel safe with this person. So now that we've gotten past that point, I can connect with them. What does that mean? Basically, the walls start coming down. And you get to start connecting with that person and start finding the similarities over the differences. Okay? Well, as that connection continues, what does that do? That continues to strengthen your relationship. And as I've said many times, we are wired for relationship. There's no way around it. There is no way around it. We are wired for relationship. That's how we are made. I know social media has made it to where we can connect with people digitally, and that's an amazing thing, right? You can talk to people that live in other parts of the world. If you have friends, family that live somewhere else, it's an amazing tool. But it doesn't itch the fix that we need to connect through relationship and being face-to-face with people, okay? We have to get to a place where we understand that the only way we build connection, the only way you're going to be able to grow and actually acknowledge your emotions and be able to actually talk about what you're dealing with is if we have an emotional safety. If we have emotional safety, we have a safe place to be broken, then we can start saying, okay, I feel safe here, that I'm not going to be judged for how I am feeling, that I'm not going to be told that it's not important, that I'm not going to be told that I'm fine, that I'm not going to be told those things, because being emotionally aware is super important. And then we start connecting with people. And what those two things bring is healing, because you start realizing now I have a safe place. It's non-judgmental. I can be myself and I can work out the pain through the process of healing. And being able to recognize that is how you strengthen your relationships. And what happens in that, that's how you start building trust with people. So now you start looking at, because that has taken place, I'm going to give you an example in my life. Because that has taken place in my life, now it doesn't matter. I have gotten to the place where I trust people so I can show up fully myself. And when I show up fully myself, even if they don't accept it, I can show up fully myself because I'm comfortable, because I've had the safe place to work out, and I know my value isn't determined by what other people think or say about me, because I know the people that I have in my life that love me well, that want me around, that accept me, that speak into my life, that don't judge me for my mistakes, but they help me stand back up and walk through those. And when that happens, doesn't matter what you encounter with other people, because you know that that issue has already been worked out. And so you can show up full yourself and people can take it or they can leave it. The thing about becoming healthy is it gives away the unhealthy people. Because if you become healthy and people don't accept that, that means that they're unhealthy and they can't recognize it in themselves. So therefore, they're not going to be able to recognize it in you. Okay? A lot of times, well, every time really, people reflect out and they display to you what is inside of themselves. And if they see something inside of themselves that they don't like it, but you might have that part figured out, they're not going to like it, because it always shines a light on where they're missing it. I remember when I first started getting healthy and I started on this path, and I'll be honest with you, there's still days that I'm shocked that I've come this far. But I remember when I first started out, there was a few people around me that had a problem with the growth that I was experiencing in my life. And every time that something would get bumped in them, the first thing out of their mouth, "Oh, you think you're better than everybody now." No, I don't. I don't think I'm better than everybody. But I can tell you this, I know where I was and I know where I'm not anymore and I know where I'm headed. And being able to sit in that place after a while, you get confident in what becomes. Okay? And let me just tell you something about this. Part of building trust is overcoming the storms with people. Okay? The only way that you're going to actually be able to live a powerful life is if you have strong relationships in your life. Because we're not meant to do life alone. We have to have people that are willing to walk with us. But here's the thing. People are messy, y'all. We're all messy. We all have hurts and pains. Even the most confident person, I'm telling you, there's insecurities in their life. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's layers. Now, we don't want those insecurities to stay, because what happens is then those things come out in a different way later that is actually going to hurt you and the people around you way more. But it's also one of those situations to where you understand that, okay, what's the alternative if I don't get healthy and I don't have powerful relationships in my life? I wouldn't be able to do what I do today without the people around me that have come into my life and speak into it. And they can show me, hey, you're off here. Or even when I'm doubting myself, they're like, no, you're good, Bobby. You're good. Because there's times where I say, hey, am I missing it here? And I think that I might be missing it, but I'm not. I'm never going to pretend that I have it all together. There's pains and hurts that I have to navigate through too, y'all. But because I'm able to have the trust that I have in my relationships today, we can go through the storms, and our bridge that we've built can hold the weight of the storm. So it doesn't have to create a falling out. And then when you get all those things, emotional safety leads to more connection. More connection leads to stronger relationships, and not just one or two people, but it's more people, because you're giving out something and people are like, yeah, I see that. I want that. That's when you get to the place where you start erasing your quit lines, where at the sign of trouble, you don't have to run. You can stand in it and you can say, yeah, this isn't fun. I don't like what you said to me there. I don't even like what you did to me there. But because I know who you are and you know who I am, that doesn't change for me. It's off the table. Any type of parting ways because of this issue that we're facing is off the table. Not long ago, I had a situation, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago, can't remember, with a buddy of mine. And I might have mentioned this on here before, I'm not sure, but it bears repeating. And there was an issue we had. And I love this person. I love him so much. But I had to share something with him because what took place to me was out of pocket. But before I did that, I sent a message. They had time to process it, get back to me in a very honoring and respectful way, and I was respectful to them. And then they're like, let's talk about this. So we get on the phone, and the first thing that I said, I want you to know I love you. That's never going to change for me. You're my friend. Who you are to me is not going to change, even though the outcome may not be what we both want out of this. And I hope who I am to you doesn't change. And so I want you to know that I love you, and any type of dissolving of this relationship is not possible. It's off the table. And because that was said, and I believe he felt the same way and he said the same thing, because that was said, we were able to get through that situation with a good solution. And it wasn't a solution that we originally planned on, but we're stronger for it. And we're good friends still. Nothing changed between us. Why? Because we've built that trust that we know who each other are. We're not judging motives. We're not judging the person. We give and allow room for mistakes. We give them each other a safe place to be broken. We've connected. We've built a strong relationship. We've erased our quit lines. And so we have that trust. And there's other people in my life that I have that with. We've built that trust. And so when you build trust through this process, it doesn't matter what other people and how they perceive you, what others say about you or how they perceive you. You can show up your best self because you know that not everybody has to receive you because they didn't invest the time into you. They haven't invested in the relationship. They haven't gotten to know your heart. And that's okay. Extend belonging to them if they want it, but you don't do things because they deserve it. You do it because simply that's who you've become and that's who you are. And you want to give someone else hope that you can respond in a lighter way, even if they don't respond to you in a lighter way or a loving way. Okay? We want to hear from you. purepurposepodcast@gmail.com. Let us know where you're listening from. Also, let us know what's been your favorite episode to this point. If you have any questions, anything that we can help with, please, we want to be a resource. Give us a shout. We'll turn it into episode content. You're going to be okay. We are going to walk this thing out together. Okay? There's so much gold inside of you. That is going to lead to the greatness outside of you. Proud of y'all. Love y'all. Keep climbing, and I'll see you next time.